The end of the school year is finally in sight, and that means that it's time to start planning activities for that last week of school. Your students are going to be so excited about summer break, and they're probably not going to be able to focus as well as they're normally able to. So you need some engaging activities that are fun and that are going to keep their attention during that last week. So today I'm going to share with you my 7 favorite end of the school year activities to do during that last week of school. So the first one is a letter to next year's class. Your students are going to write letters to students who will be in your class next year. And they are just going to put dear new third grader or dear new fourth grader, whatever grade you teach, since they probably won't know the names of the students who will be in your class next year. They're going to tell them about their favorite things from the school year so that they get excited about what they're going to be doing. And they're also going to give them some advice, things that they should and shouldn't do when they're in your class. And it's always fun to read those pieces of advice because some students give some very interesting pieces of advice to the next year's class. And then you are going to collect those letters after your students do a final copy of them, and you're going to put them somewhere safe for the summer. So put them in a desk drawer somewhere where you're going to remember where they are when you're getting ready for the new school year. Then you're going to just put one on each student's desk for the first day. So when they come in, they have that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of reading about what they're going to get to do to get them excited to start that new year. All right, my second favorite end of the school year activity is an end of the school year memory book. Have your students reflect on the year and think about what were some of their very favorite things that they did. That way, they'll have this memory book forever that they can look back and remember what it was like to be in your class. So when I do a memory book, I usually make it so that there's a page for each day that last week of school. And then before the last day, I put it all together for my students. So they have to write about their favorite units from the year, what science or math or reading units were their favorite and why. They write about their best friends so that they can remember who they were friends with that school year. They also write about a memory that they will never forget. In my class, a lot of my students chose to write about our colonial day. I set up the room like it was colonial times, and they came in and we ran it like a one-room schoolhouse for the whole day. And that was always something that they really wanted to remember. So that was something that they would write about on that page. A lot of others wrote about our field trips because that was something else that they thought was really fun. And then on the last page, I give them a blank page that just says autographs. And on the last day of school, I always let them walk around and get signatures and little notes from their classmates so they could remember who was in their class for the year. And then just put it together, send it home with them on the last day, and they will have those memories with them forever. All right, the next activity is something that actually saved me time, and it's having the students do book recommendations. At the end of every school year, I always had a few parents who asked me what books should their students be reading over the summer to keep up those reading skills. And then I would have to go through and see what books have they already read, what books might they like, and it took me a while to put together a list of books to give the parents for each of those students. So then I got an idea and I decided to have my students recommend the book. So each student gets a book recommendation form. This is like a book talk form that they fill out about the best book that they read this school year. They're just going to tell the title, the author, and then some of the important things that happened in the book without giving away the ending. And then I have the students give their book talks throughout the last week so that they can get their classmates excited about some of the books that they read during the school year. And then we put all of those book titles together on our recommendations form. So each student gets to add a book to this form with the title, the author, and why they recommend the book. And then I always do one as well. And then I copy this for each student and send it home so that they have at least 20 book recommendations over the summer that their parents can look through, decide which ones they would like their children to read, and either buy them or go to the library and get them so that their students have that summer reading. And it saves me lots of time because I don't have to put those lists together. They have plenty of options from the recommendations from their classmates. All right, next is a math activity because I always like to continue doing each subject that last week of school. That was always what helped to kind of keep some order that last week of school and make sure that my students knew what to expect still. So a math activity for the last week of school is going to be a scoot activity. And if you've done those before, you're going to put things around the classroom. Your students are going to go around and answer each of the questions. This is going to be a little bit different though, because instead of you coming up with the questions, your students are going to come up with the questions. So on the first day, you're going to give your students a page and just have them write down some math questions that they think their peers could answer based on what they learned that year. Each student is going to write 6 different questions. And then you're going to collect them and you're going to choose 1 or 2 questions from each student's paper. I just put a little star next to the ones that I want them to use. Then they are going to be writing the questions that you chose on cards. And these are the cards that are then going to go around the classroom. You can either hang them around the room, you can put them on students' desks, but they should be spread out because then your students are going to move from one card to the next to answer the questions. They're going to have an answer sheet, and this is where they're going to record all of their answers. Once they're done, to check it, you're going to have your students become the teachers. For each question that they wrote, they are going to be the teacher and teach the class how to solve the problem. And the rest of your class is going to check their answers based on what the teacher told them the answer was. There's also a teacher tracker included with this activity because this is where you are going to know the name of the student and the answer to their question and also which question number they wrote so that you can follow along and know who needs to be the teacher for each question, and you can also check and make sure that all of your students' answers are correct. All right, next activity is for the last day of school, and this is a Mingo game. So it's like bingo, but it's called Mingo because it's going to get your students up and moving around and mingling with their peers. The reason I do this activity on the last day of school is because I also did it on the first day of school with my students. So they got to get to know each other through a Mingo game. It got them up and talking. So now it kind of brings the year to a full circle. They kind of close out with that same type of activity on the last day. So what you're going to do is each student gets the Mingo board, and then they're going to go around the classroom and ask their peers the questions on the page. So what was your favorite art project this year? Or why did you like being in this class? And then once somebody answers their question, they're going to sign the box on the Mingo board. So your student's job is to see how many different people they can talk to and how many different signatures they can get in the boxes on the Mingo board. It's just a fun way to reflect on the school year, and it also gets the students talking with their friends one last time in your class. And then another activity that I really like because it saves me time or you time as the teacher, it's a classroom cleanup scavenger hunt. So it has activities on it that you would be having the students do anyway, like cleaning out their desks and wiping down their desks, picking up trash from the floor. So just different things that the students can do to help you get ready for the end of the year. And it makes it into kind of a fun game rather than them feeling like they have work to do and like this is something that's hard. It kind of makes it fun as they go through. They can choose what order they want to do the activities in. Their job is just to finish everything on the scavenger hunt. And when they're done, your room is going to look much better and you are going to have some of the things on your to-do list checked off because they're also going to help take down some things around the classroom. This activity is editable because I know every classroom is different. You are going to have different things that you want done in your classroom than the person across the hall from you. So you need to be able to change the activities on the classroom scavenger hunt. And then the last activity for the end of the school year is an Unlock the Box mystery. So your students are going to get 4 clues and they need to solve them in order to be able to unlock a box. So these are just toolboxes from the dollar store, and you can get number locks off of Amazon, or you can even just use a regular lock for this activity. You're going to put some kind of an end of the year prize inside the box for your students, and then you're going to put them into groups. I actually have a box for each group so that when they finish the last clue, they can unlock it. But you can also do it just with one box and relock it in between the groups finishing. Either way works fine. So they're going to work in their groups and they're going to solve 4 end of the school year clues or riddles. So basically one is they're going to have to unscramble some words that have to do with summer. They're going to have to solve some math problems that have to do with summer. And when they're done with the last one, the clue or the answer to the last clue is going to be the number that unlocks the box. And then they get to get their surprise. And it's just a really fun way to end the school year. My students leave talking about that end of the school year unlock the box mystery because they have so much fun solving it. So those are 7 of my absolute favorite end of the school year activities. I would love to hear about your favorite end of the year activities. Let me know what those are in the comments. And if you would like to get a bundle with all 7 of these activities in it, check the description for this video. There's a link. It's in my TPT store. It is in the end of the school year bundle. Have a wonderful last few weeks of school.